What's up everybody, it's Sports Cat aka Aiden and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be about the future of Jesse Lingard at Manchester United. Before we get started, if you like the content that I provide or anything like that, please like and subscribe. It only takes a couple of seconds out of your day, so I'm sure if you guys like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for the 10 subscribers, by the way, guys. We finally got it, and yeah. Before we get started, I just want to say, because most people don't view viewer retention is pretty low, so I want to get started on the mental health issue that Jesse Lingard has spoken about. Now, mental health isn't a joke. I feel like if Jesse Lingard is really suffering from a mental instabilities or mental health, then it's okay to voice your opinion. And I know it's extremely hard to do that in such an environment such as Manchester United, because the people are going to judge, people are going to say that he's lying, people are going to assume that he has the best life, he's living his best life, and he's rich and all of this. But I'm sorry, if that's how you're going to feel, then money isn't everything. That's all I have to say. Money doesn't fix the world's problems. Money doesn't fix anything. So mental health is serious, and anybody can suffer through it. I think majority of men, especially in the field that they're in, will suffer through mental illnesses and mental health, and it's okay to voice your opinion, and it's extremely difficult to do so as well. So I credit him for that, and I hope everything's okay. He's obviously he's had a rough time with his mother, I believe, and all of that, and that's all right. And there's also Andreas Pereira as well, has been struggling with the mental side of playing for Manchester United. Look, all of that, I'm really happy that those opinions are out there now, and that they've said that, because it brings a whole new side to football that no one really cares for at all. It's a big deal playing for this club. It's massive. It's gigantic. And as a fan base, as a team, it's sad that stuff like this happens to us, but it will happen. We're just such a big club. It's going to happen. And I just I don't know. I feel like it's okay to voice those opinions, and it's okay to feel that way, but it's how you deal with that mental struggle. And I'm no expert on mental health or anything like that, but as long as they get the help that they need in order to be successful here, then I'm sure they'll be fine. Look, Andreas is a good football player. I really believe that. He's a good football player that's underperforming. I think Jesse Lingard is similar to that as well. And the future might be bright for them. It might not be at Manchester United, but it might be somewhere else. As long as wherever they can to make themselves happy, I think that's the best place for them. Now, we'll just stick to Jesse Lingard for the moment. So obviously, on the mental side of things, I hope he gets the help that he needs, and I hope that everything will be fine with him. It's been a very hard couple of months, or even a year probably, for him. And he's voiced his opinion. He's the one that gets the most stick, at least when it comes to his social media, his Instagram, his Twitter. He gets a lot of stick about how he uses his social media compared to how he plays on the football pitch. And it's criticism at the end of the day. He gets criticized for what he does, and a lot of criticism is probably well deserved in his case, because for a year he hasn't been performing. But I am a strong believer that it doesn't, the way that you use social media does not reflect how someone plays on the football pitch. And it's Instagram and Twitter, you could post on there all you want. That doesn't reflect that you're not trying hard. It doesn't reflect that you're not the hardest worker there. It doesn't reflect anything. If anything, social media is just another way to promote yourself in a very tight business. Like, you have to treat yourself as a business, as a prize, really, and you need to expose yourself out there more than one way. Ronaldo does it, Messi does it, Zlatan does it. So I don't see a problem with the likes of Paul Pogba and Jesse Lingard doing it. Yes, they're not the greatest of players, or Pogba might be, but Jesse Lingard, he's not the greatest of the greats. He's not He's not a Messi. He's not a Ronaldo, but he's a good player, and he promotes himself well on social media, and you can't hate a guy for that. So when it comes to social media, I don't really reflect social media on the future of Manchester United. Now, to get to his performances, to be honest, it's probably been the worst I've seen in a as a Man United player. This run of form has definitely been his worst. He's had a lot of chances really this season, and he hasn't lived up to them. He scored only one goal and probably, I believe, one assist as well. So that's just not good enough for a Manchester United player, in my opinion. Now, on the pitch is where most of this is going to count, if you think about it, because as a Manchester United fan, we don't really get to see much of the players off camera besides their social medias, and their social medias could be well and truly a bad representation of who they really are. Because they're going to have to promote a lot of things. They're going to have to promote their latest shoes that come out. They're going to have to promote all these brands that sign them and all of this. So social media is not the best way to define who someone really is. But on the football pitch, you can see the type of player they are. You can see what they do. You can see how well they perform, the goals, the stats, the amount of running they do, the kilometers they run per game, the hot zones. You can see all of that. It's probably the easiest thing to see. So as a football player, it's probably the part where I think he doesn't deserve to be at Manchester United. Because I think as a social media presence, he's probably one of the best at Manchester United. I think people that don't watch football are well aware of who Jesse Lingard is from his social media and from all the memes that are made of him and all of this. And he's good at that. He's good at promoting himself on social media. But on a football pitch, he has not been good enough, and I think it's a two-way street here. I think the fans are slowly turning on him and criticizing him and saying really bad stuff about him. And I think for Jesse Lingard, I kind of think he's fed up a bit. Now, that's not me saying I know anything, but I just think if that was me and all those fans were criticizing me for a year and a half, maybe more. Of course, there's going to be more, but like for now, just a year and a half, criticizing me constantly. Yeah, I'd be fed up. I'd be extremely fed up. So overall, I think the answer that everybody's looking for is what's Jesse Lingard's future. I think it's both beneficial for both parties involved that he probably gets to move somewhere else, and I think that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, you got Riola, I believe, as the agent of Jesse Lingard now. Riola doesn't really like Manchester United. Jesse Lingard, I'm sure he loves Manchester United, but I just don't think it's the right place for him anymore. I think the fans have rejected him, and it's sad to see. I don't think he's rejected the fans, but I don't think he can. Otherwise, it'll be real uproar. But I think that it's just it's a story that's coming to an end, and I like Lingard. I like him as a person. I like him as a footballer sometimes, and I think that he's had very good runs of form here. He's definitely going to be remembered as a Manchester United player. Not one of the greatest, but he's definitely going to be remembered. He's a United youth product. He's been in the Manchester United program for his whole life. So it's going to be a big change for him, but I think it's a change that needs to be made because obviously it's just not worked out. It has worked out for the past couple of years. He's won an FA Cup with us. He's won a Europa League with us, a Carabao Cup. He's won trophies with us. And I'm sure those are the best moments of his footballing career. But I think that there could be more somewhere else for him. And it might not be Manchester United that's the place for him. Performance-wise, I think if he moves, he'll obviously get better performances. I think Manchester United, especially when it comes to that attacking midfielder position or any attacking position, they're not the best, especially now, they're not the best to help attacking players thrive because they just don't. They don't help attacking players thrive. So that also affects Jesse Lingard. It affects all of our attackers. So I think maybe if he goes to an Italian team or even a team in Spain, maybe France, anywhere that he wants, that will not only make him happy, but also help any mental issues that he might have. That because clearly Manchester United are trying, but it's not working out. Whatever they're trying to do to help him. So also to help his footballing performances. I'm sure big teams would want him. I know maybe by performance-wise, a lot of Man United fans think that no one would want him, but I do think big teams would be interested. It's just based on his name value alone, his social media presence alone, the footballing stuff and all of that. That's the biggest part, but I don't think it's the only part that signs a player. And yeah, I do think big teams will be interested. I think it's best if both parties just moved on with each other. I just want to say this. Thank you for watching this video. Not really much to say about that. I really wanted to make this Jesse Lingard video because his performances have been bad. People give him a lot of criticism, and by the way, criticism is rightfully deserved. There's no shame. I don't think players mind it either. That if it's constructive criticism, that can help. And fans are very knowledgeable about football, so players, if they think that they can just not listen to the fans and do their own thing, then they're going to end up missing out on a lot of useful information in their career. There are a lot of fans that really know what they're talking about, and they can help players, and players can listen to fans. I'm sure it's happened many times, but it has to be constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with giving criticism to a player. Players probably thrive under, a lot of players will thrive under the criticism that being put against them. Use them as motivation. But I think there's been too much, and too much personal criticism as well, about the way he lives and all of that. And that's, in my opinion, that's not on. You don't judge someone's personal life based on their footballing career, unless it has a clear reasoning behind it. Because obviously there's personal issues that lead to their footballing career. It is happening to Jesse Lingard at the moment, but it's not. You should never criticize someone's personal life if it has no correlation to their footballing career. I just don't believe that as a fan of sports, that should happen. But if you're not a fan of sports and you're more a fan of what they do, then that's up to you. But yeah, criticism's fine. It is well and good, but it has to be constructive criticism and criticism towards their career, their performances, and not what they do outside of the football pitch. Especially if you're judging on whether it's a seller player or not. Yeah, so I hope everything goes well with Jesse Lingard, whether he stays or goes. I hope he just is happy, and when he's happy, he can find his performances again and all of this. And same with Andreas and everybody else that's dealing with it. Mental health isn't a joke. It could definitely destroy a lot of careers. It could definitely destroy a lot of families and everything. So for those who are thinking it's just a joke, it's not. It really isn't. And he has some character to actually express how much he's struggling. Not many people can do that. Not many people can admit when they're vulnerable. So yeah, kudos to him. I hope everything gets better, whether he leaves or not. I hope everything's fine. I hope he's happy, because at the end of the day, a happy footballer is one that's going to perform at its best. Anyway, this is the Sports Code. Take care and peace.